What's up, you guys? Welcome to episode 6.
Yay.
Episode 6?
Yes.
Yeah, episode 6. We are BTS. I am your host, Jen.
I'm Jewel.
And I am Rico.
Yeah, let's get into it. We're super excited to be here.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
It feels like I haven't talked to you guys in
It
forever.
feels like
No,
so
for real.
long.
At least in this setting, you know, I talk to you
know.
guys all the time.
Clearly, this is a new setting.
New
Yeah.
studio.
We're like in a new place.
Mhm.
We wanted to just try something different.
Yeah, a little
Um,
change of environment.
Yeah, just it's good for you.
Yeah.
So how you guys been
Good.
this week?
Good.
Highs and lows, but
Why'd you-
still good.
Why'd you make that face?
Well, they're like, this girl always talk about school, but finals are coming up. So, well, I'm super excited because that's like finally done with this term, but there's a lot of studying going on.
But I
so
feel
far,
like it's
so
good though. Like you just started, and I feel like you're here. Time's like this year is going crazy.
Mhm.
What about you?
I'm excited for my birthday.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
Taurus season.
Taurus.
Yes.
Gang, gang, gang.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do? Any plans?
A movie night.
No, I'm just kidding. I know.
You
I'm planning
could've
it.
pretended.
We don't pretend over here.
about
Yeah,
you?
me. It's been good. Yeah, I always forget. Every week, I'm like, how was my week? Or like,
I know. Me
honestly,
too.
it just goes so fast. I just feel like, well, actually, I feel like I haven't been around like with you guys in a long time, like
You've been
together
really
recording.
busy.
But I just feel like, every time I go to bed, I swear to God, it's so weird. I'm like, here I am trying to sleep again. Like, I don't know why I think of that because it's like my days just like, and then I'm sleeping and then I'm like, But yeah, it's been good. I just feel cool because I've been going to the gym every day.
There
Like,
we
I feel so
go.
sexy.
Yes.
But other than that, just working a lot and chilling
That's good.
and trying to read.
Yes. Yes.
So have you guys been reading?
Yeah.
I have. Well, I did most of my reading last
This
week.
is our book, All About Love.
So I'm reading this book called All About Love, but I think we're all also reading other books.
Yes. Oh my God, we went to Barnes & Noble. Best time ever. Remember when we went to Barnes
Yeah.
& Noble? So fun.
That was so fun.
I don't think we
I-
could forget.
No.
I was kind of sad that I didn't like start with you guys because towards the end I'm just like,
Oh, I
I
know.
need
She
more
was-
time.
I know.
But you
You
should have
can-
took your time.
I know you should have. You could have. It's just, yeah, you need
What?
a lot of time when we're at Barnes &
Yeah,
Noble.
I just thought, okay, we can go back. I just
Oh, yeah, we
realized that
still
this
can
is
go
the
back.
camera I'm supposed to look at.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't even matter. You don't even have a camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
should have
Okay,
this
just that one.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
Okay, because I'm
But-
like,
No, that one.
So I'm reading this book called All About Love,
Yes.
and kind of what we were talking about last episode with Lee and everything. But I feel like it was just a little bit too intense to talk about with a kid. Sometimes,
True.
like you can't really talk your shit when there's a kid there. Like you can't really say how you feel
Yeah.
because sometimes it can feel a little
It's like,
inappropriate.
Should I get into my trauma?
No,
with
for
the
real,
lead right
exactly,
there?
Right.
exactly.
there's so much to say about that book. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
pretty intense and
What has been like one of your like favorite parts of the book so far?
I think my favorite chapter has been chapter 5, which is like divine spirituality.
I think.
And I don't know if you guys want to read the definition of love again to them. Which
No,
starts,
you
like-
should read it if you have it highlighted, because girl, I got
Okay,
too
do
much
you have
here.
it?
I have it highlighted. So this is from chapter 1.
Yeah.
And the way that it's not Bell Hooks that describes the definition, but she uses the definition from a German social psychologist.
Yeah.
And it says that the love definition is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's inner spiritual growth. Love is as love does. Love is an act of will, intention, and an action. Love implies choice. We do not have to love, we choose to love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
I really love this book. Like, not to get into my trauma, but I love when they start talking about like family and stuff, because it's crazy, but how they explain in this book, basically like one thing that when like your family, like it's the difference when you know what love actually is compared to like what caring is, what like nurturing is, what like being there for one another is, or whatever. And it's like a huge difference compared to what actually love is. And it's crazy, like reading this book, I feel a little bad because I'm like,
No, me
damn,
too.
like you feel like, did I not have love? Like, or you feel, it's not like you're putting the blame on anyone, whatever,
Yeah.
people just don't understand like what love actually is, So, but it's crazy, like to literally look and like face the facts, like, well, I lived in a caring household, but maybe not so much of a loving household.
Exactly. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, and I feel like kind of it's like the cold truth, and they talk about that too. Kind of how it's like there's this part where they just said like. I hate what I'm trying to think, but I don't have the quote, and I have so many things highlighted that I'm like, which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they're kind of saying how kids, like, no matter what, like, they go through with their parents and stuff, like, they have this like urge and need to like love their parents, and they want their parents to love them back, no matter what, how much trauma their parents have put them through, or how many times they've like done things that clearly show them that it's not love, because of the simple fact that they just like cared for them.
Mm-hmm.
They like focus on that and they feel like that's love, but it's completely different.
Yeah. It's kind of like this what the scientist was telling me. I mean what I watched.
Damn, you met a scientist?
I forgot his name. I wish I could. But he basically was referring to like a dog's love and how unconditional it is. Like when you come home, like from the end of your workday, they are so happy to see you, no matter what they've been through, no matter like they didn't do anything all day or they did or whatever. Like they don't know where you were, whatever you went through, but they're just so happy that you're finally back with them. And he was saying like, I want to live my life like that, just like because. I think he was referencing like the dogs don't last forever, but they still live their every day like to the fullest.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to always be reminded of that. Like I want to live my day to the fullest, and like with that love that like dogs literally give you no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what they go through, no matter what like you interact with them less or more, like it's unconditional. No
I was
matter
gonna say
what.
maybe we should start acting like MC and Rando. Like it's so funny that she says that because before we were leaving the house, I was like, our dogs.
Our dogs.
I was like, oh my, I'm gonna insert a picture here. I'm like, your inspo for your outfit must have been MC and mine must have been Rando.
MC's tan and Rando's like spotted, black, gray, and white.
Yeah,
so it's kind of
fitting. Giving those vibes. So it's funny that you just mentioned the dogs.
But I do love that the book breaks down love, that like it's not just like a romance feeling, or it's not just like something that you just feel when it comes to like your friends or your family. It really breaks it down. There's so many aspects to build it up. And it's something that you once you read the book, you realize, did I experience that? Did I have that growing up? And like, was I really taught what it really is? Or did I just get like societal's view of what it is, and like from movies, TV, like the books we read in school, and like our family and friends.
There was this thing in there that's basically said like blood, like they're taught that like when you're blood related to someone, then that's love, like automatically. It's basically like, oh, you jumped in, like this is love, like you got to be a part of this, like it's automatic, and that's not true. That's like the furthest from the truth.
And that's what I enjoyed reading the book, because it tells you. There's a part where she says that we should be taught, because society teaches us that we're supposed to learn love from like our parents or from what's at home, right? Yeah. But it's like, what about the people that aren't receiving the true definition of what it's supposed to be at home, right? And no one else is teaching them those things. Yeah. And I kind of brought that up the last episode, where it's like love should really be a class.
Yes,
in school, yeah, for sure, they should teach about it
where they're
in the correct way, and
because some people have a false sense of what love is based on their childhood, majority wise, of and they could have experienced verbal abuse, physical abuse, and then end up in relationships where it's toxic, right? But that's their definition of what love is to them.
Or even in the book, it says like a person that has received everything, like let's say materialistic stuff, they're still being neglected as a person that hasn't, because their definition of love now is defined by what they receive materialistic. Yeah. So they don't know how to love. They don't know how to give love. They just know how to receive love, and that's their definition of love, which is just so it's like poverty doesn't really have anything to do, like you can probably be abused and not receive love, versus like a person that like got it all, but they're probably also going through a type of neglect, which is crazy. So that book broke it down, because I never really thought about it like that,
like, oh, they're well off, they should be good. But no, it's not just about that.
I mean, everyone has their And it's funny 'cause I feel like, I don't know, did we talk about this on the podcast or maybe after? But like everyone has their thing, you know. Like it doesn't matter where you come from or who you like, how rich you are, or fame, like all this shit. Like, bro, everyone has their shit. Everyone has their problem. Everyone has their issues, and like you can't just judge off like, oh, well, they have a nice car. Like, girl, are you fucking kidding me? Like, never mind. I was gonna say something crazy.
Like
but
everyone has their own hardships, big or small. Even if they're like well off or like poor.
Yeah, like some people are married to a
Whatever
rich guy
class
that
you're in.
abuses them every day.
Exactly.
And then people are like, girl, you got that man. Like, are you fucking dumb? You didn't see me with the shades on this morning?
Oh my
like,
gosh,
bro.
yes.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel that you guys were shown like a good definition of
No. Mom, I'm sorry, but you didn't like.
No, but I don't think it was bad either.
Yeah.
I think that it was like confusing.
Yeah.
Especially when you get older, because you realize like, okay, why am I not connecting well with like a significant other or something like that? But then if you actually take the time to like realize and understand how you grew up and what it means, then it's like, oh,
yeah,
maybe that's why.
Like I think, like I said in the book, I think I grew up in a caring environment.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
But I didn't grow up in a loving environment.
Yeah,
because there's so many like aspects that were missing to make it what love actually is.
Yeah.
So I was just. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was hard to read it because I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm going against my mama. Like, I feel like I'm going against my family.
No.
Like, and it's not like, obviously it's still caring. So it's like a good thing. And it's like a great step to learn and like try to like implement that into your life or like people around you. But yeah, what about you?
I feel like I was shown love in a way where it's okay because I was raised by like a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
I was shown love by her being like a boss and providing and making sure that I had a roof over my head.
Yeah, but that's the caring aspect.
But like okay, this book talks about community being like a big thing. I didn't have community. I just had my mom.
I wanted to read that right now.
Yeah, like it was just me and my mom. So seeing her, just be this like independent woman, I think kind of made me also, how can I say it, like independent and not really have like a voice because it was just me and my mom. So I didn't have a community, and the book talks about how important it is to have a community. Like I didn't have a auntie that I can go to. I didn't have a brother or sister that I can go to, a godmother, godfather, whatever. It was just me and my mom. So yes, I was shown love, but it was more like a tough love.
Yeah.
Now, am I happy about it? Yes, because it made me who I am today.
Well, that's the difference that I want to ask you, because there's a difference between like, it basically talks about that in the book. Like we say all this stuff, like it was a caring environment. It was like something that taught you, but like when it comes to the actual definition and how they explain it and how they break it down and how they say like, this is love, this is this, like. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeling, because you're basically saying, not saying it's a bad thing, but you're basically saying like what they are saying, like kids will love their, like basically say all this stuff about their parents, but they're just saying like, but it still is a difference between like a loving environment. So when you asked me the question, I took it as like from the book's aspect. Right. So like are you answering from the book's aspect? Or
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I agreed with what you said. Okay. Except that
she said, but let me defend, though, before I get kicked out of this family.
Like, yeah, I learned the definition of love, which is why, like, I think highly of love, but I learned it in a way where it's like I wasn't receiving it from the full spectrum of what a family
like
should
you received it here and there,
yeah. So then I learned love through seeing other families a lot of times. And I always like imagined, oh, this is why I used to say, oh, I want 10 kids when I grow up. Like my mom knows this, people know this. And now I'm like, okay, maybe not 10 kids, but I've always
a big family
been such a like hopeless romantic of like, I want this big family. Why? Because I didn't have that, So it's like, so I guess it.
Oh my God, could the reason be I don't want kids is because, like, my childhood.
She's like, I don't want to fuck nobody. She's like, I don't want to fuck no one up. Like, I don't know if I could do this.
And you realize, like you said, like, you realize how similar you are to the people who raised you and how they were expressing or not expressing.
Can I say something? I literally think I am like the complete opposite. Like
That's
I
good.
think what I took
No,
from
it
my
depends.
family and the way like I grew up is just like, no offense to anyone, but don't get offended. I don't care. I feel like I grew up and I was like, I don't want to do none of that shit. Like
Yeah.
none of that shit. I know how I felt when it came to me and like how I felt growing up. I know how I felt like unheard. I know how I felt like, oh, stay in a child's place. Like, bitch, I'm trying to tell you something that just happened to me that's probably you should know, but you don't want me to fucking say it, you know, like, and I feel like now that I'm an adult, that's why like I'm more like, you know how I am. Like I always want to have like, oh, let's do something. Like it's my friends though, like not my blood relatives, but like my chosen family.
Very,
I'm
like,
always like,
interactive.
oh, let's have a party for that, or like let's spend time for that, or we should have a movie. Like I
I'm telling you,
always
if
want
we
to.
had money, there would be a celebration for like, oh my god, like, oh
No,
my,
for
you have a
real.
cute outfit on today. Like, let's go celebrate. Wow.
No, facts. And I
Like,
feel like
you
that's how
know?
we show. Like definitely me and Joel,
You guys
for
do,
sure. I
yeah.
feel like that's one of our love languages. We always we like to spoil the people around us and always like host some stupid little event and like decorate the whole house and like fucking a random theme.
They're really good at it too. Like I've seen when they like do the. Who was it? The last one was it Joanna's? The
Oh, the
Hawaiian.
hula.
Oh,
the
yeah.
I said
The
hula.
luau.
The-
The luau. That
The
was
luau,
nice.
yes.
Oh my god, fish bowls. Don't.
oh yeah,
They're a
yes.
recipe for disaster.
But yeah. So I think that's why I like to do all this stuff. Like I like to spend family time. I like to spend quality time.
Yeah.
Cause like no matter what, yeah, my family, like they provided for me all this stuff, but I never felt like that like time was important. And in my head, I feel like that's very important to like spend time to talk, to cry, to get deep, like whatever the case may be. Like I feel like that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't like have a loving situation in isolation. That's what the book was basically saying. Like, and I feel like that's why we're all the way we are together in our group. Yeah, that's my favorite group. Like,
Yeah, like I feel like when we were younger, like there's like love languages, right? And I feel like for my mom, it was like materialistic, like because she was like the breadwinner, so buying things for us, making sure that we were like whatever you're like, not whatever you wanted, but to a certain degree. And then my dad was like, his love language was taking us out to do activities, to spend time, like
Yeah.
not necessarily get to know us by any means, but just like make sure that we're entertained and having fun. But there was no like, hey, how are you? Like, what are
Yeah.
you going through? Especially like when you get older and you become a teenager, then a young
Yes.
adult. It's like, oh, okay. No one was really there to kind of understand who I am and like how I'm growing and
Mhm.
what I'm going through. But it was my friends' families.
and I
that,
think that's
like,
when you start to feel the disconnect.
they were the influence. Yeah. Because then I'm like looking at these families and they're not perfect by any means, but it's like, oh, well, my
Mhm.
friend's mom wants to check on me
Like-
and her, like see how we're both doing.
One of my favorite parents that I like to see interact is like your sister Joy,
Oh, yeah.
because her kids are like, I don't know, it just seems like their mom is almost like a big sister, but it's obviously their mom, but like the way they talk and like
Mhm.
just talk about shit, like they talk about the boys, whoever they like, and her mom's
Mhm.
The
like
drama
telling
in
them like,
school.
well, let me see the phone, and then she's like, well, maybe you shouldn't say that back to her, and she's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's like so like, I don't know, I just feel like
It's very
that's so
immersed.
important.
Yeah.
Because like growing up, my mom didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and then when I was growing, I was like, yeah, I stole from whatever. I'm not gonna criminalize myself. Criminalize my. I don't even know the words. But anyways, incriminate myself. But like my mom didn't know what I was doing. Like my family didn't know what I was doing. Like
Oh my God.
they were just working and coming home.
I remember like our house, my parents' room was like on one side of the house and the kids' rooms were on the one side of the house. And my dad snores like crazy. So all I had to do is wait for him to be snoring. And I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm out. Like, I'm sneaking out the house. It's not even hard. Like, he just snores and I'm out the front door. Like,
Yeah,
they
it
had
was
no
never
idea.
hard. Definitely in Florida, our houses
Oh,
were
yeah.
big and spacious.
Yes.
So it's like, and most of the master bedrooms were on the other side of
Oh,
the room,
yes,
the
exactly,
house.
like,
So like
opposite
everyone would be
side.
like, okay, we outside, and like
Yeah.
then like your parents grow up like, you did what? Like, girl, you was right
Yeah,
there.
it's fun to tell them like when we're older.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I told my mom a couple of stuff
Yeah.
when I was after.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But I feel like when you're like it's not overbearing, but like when you really are showing that like love and like, because what is the definition when you try to do, I don't know the exact definition, but when you try to better someone's spirit or something like that, right? Like I feel like so
Like nurture them.
yeah, when you're nurturing someone and like you're walking in that, you're in their business,
Mm-hmm.
like in the most positive way. It's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
like nothing negative, but I just feel like growing up, definitely in our time, like our time period is different.
Mm-hmm. So much was going on.
It literally has like stepped down. It's like it has passed down. Like our parents were a certain way because they're parents, and like, but I feel like our generation are the type of parents that like we're kind of nosy.
That's the thing too.
To our
Like
kids now.
it's your parents did the best that they could based on what
they knew
from their childhood. So my parents, like their parents didn't talk to them about like, hey, how are you feeling today? Like, how are you doing?
And also I feel like you can blame no one because at the end of the day, they didn't have social media keeping you woke. Like every day we have quotes. Every day we have something about mental health. Every day we have, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's
something
another
that you
thing
can relate to and express yourself better.
Even like chapter 2 that talks about child advocacy.
Like
that's
our
my
parents would never even, like they never even thought about that. No. You know what I'm saying?
You're just
stay in the child's place.
I'm the adult. I know better.
Or to even read it, like I didn't really think about it. And then when I'm reading, I'm like, wow, this is so true. Because who is advocating for
the children?
The children. You know, like as a woman, we've advocated for like women rights. As a you know, people in whatever it is advocate for those things. But there's not much that a child, you can't really say much about a child because it's like, I can't go and say, well, I'm going to advocate for like that child because they have a mom and a dad, or, you know, it's just.
But like me, that's why, because, you know, eventually along the line, like, you know, we'll get deeper about like childhood or whatever. But like, that's why I'm such a big advocate for kids. Everyone knows I only care about the kids. Like, fuck the adults. Like, like Aaliyah, she's so important to me. And that's why we have that bond, you know, because I've been advocating for her. Like, yeah, she has parents and she has a good dad and stuff, you know. So, and you know, we're friends. But it's just like I'm always gonna advocate for her and be like, well, even that time her dad got mad at me because she didn't want to go to his work, and I'm like, bro, well, she could just come to our house. Like, we're her aunt, her uncle. Like, why would she go to your work? And he basically got mad at me because I like interrupted. But like, dude, I know she's a kid, and you just like, well, I said this. You know, everyone's not the best all the time, but it's like listen, you have to listen to them, you know. And I always want to listen to the kids because that's so important. Like the tiniest thing could fuck them up, or they could feel unheard, or they could feel like unseen. Like, and I even feel bad when I'm not paying attention to Aaliyah sometimes. And then remember that time she said, "Every time I come over, you're just so busy now." And I was like, "Fuck!" Like that fucked me up. I was sad. Remember, I was so sad. I was like, next time Aaliyah comes over, I'm not doing anything. Like, I don't care if I have stuff to do. And I didn't do anything. I hung out with her because I felt bad. Like, damn.
So like, when it comes to you guys picturing your child self, like, is there anything that you feel like you had to quiet down about just simply because you were a child and didn't have like a word? Because I think that's like the child advocacy where it's like, I mean, you're a child, you really don't have a say.
The truth is, I used to get beat because I used to still say it. I've been the same low key since a kid. Yeah, literally, like we're still the kids we used to be. Yeah. So like I used to talk shit. Like I would be the kid advocating for all my siblings and my cousins. My mom would always say, "Well, if you want to be a lawyer, go to school." And I would get like whooped because I used to be like, "Mom, I'm sorry," but I had a little attitude. Don't get me wrong. I was never like the best kid, but I was like, "That's stupid. Why is he getting in trouble for this? Because this makes more sense than that." Like, so I don't even know why he's getting in trouble, and then I would get in trouble too. But I would always do that. But I still never felt like heard. But I was still talking about shit as a kid.
I was just shy. I feel like our household was so like, I don't think it was loud. I think it was just, you know, I was just I thank God I had a sibling because, like, I would have been alone in a quiet-ass house. Like, thank God for Joseph, even though he annoys me. But, I mean, it was just us for, like, majority of the time. Like, us trying to, like, entertain ourselves or us trying to, like, get to know the kids in the neighborhood so that we can go, like, do stuff. But I don't think that I kind of, like, broke out of my shell until, like, friends probably in high school. Like, trying to get to know myself, but it wasn't in my own house. I was never home. I literally was always at a friend. Like, whose house am I going to after school today? Yeah. Like, you or you, because I don't want to go home. Yeah. It was more like, and everyone's parents was like, okay, so who's taking Jewel? Who's picking her up?
That's why I loved growing up in Florida. Like, parents, like, had so much hospitality. Like, and it was no big deal. They'll pick you up. They'll feed you. They'll take you home. You come into the movies. Like, you'll get adopted by different families, like, and different parts of your life. Like, like, oh, yeah, Jules,
I think that was a blessing to kind of get to know, because at too in Florida, like different cultures for sure. So it's like I had a Guyanese Jamaican family, I had a Puerto Rican family, like to be my influences when I was growing up. And their families were so nice and so caring and so loving. Like I didn't like that's the thing, like we were well off, but I just didn't have that like
connection,
like love and nurture from my parents. Like I had like they could afford to buy me things and like send me places and take me to do things, but it wasn't like the way people check on your loved ones.
I think people forget to like show love, and because like even for instance, like we all crave that love. We all crave to be loved, or to like say you're going through something but you don't say it, but like low key you're craving for someone to ask you like, how are you doing? And you're gonna say good. Lie. Oh, I love when they talk about lying and
that's
about lying.
4,
You're gonna say you're doing good or whatever,
but there's
which is also a lie. But at the end of the day, like we all still crave that feeling of like. But it's so crazy because for me personally, I can't talk for everyone, but when I'm on the outside, sometimes I want to do that to people, and I'm still scared. Like
me too.
It's like I'm scared to give the love that I want to receive, and I feel like in order to receive that love, you have to be that loving person.
Be vulnerable.
Because if you're vulnerable, I think you would attract more people that are more vulnerable, because they could be vulnerable with you. So now, no, you could be vulnerable with them. So now they're more open to be vulnerable with you, and always be like, well, how are you? Because they know like, oh, well, with Jenny, I could be more soft. Like with Jenny, I could be softer. With you, I could be softer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I have friends where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to be like this with this friend or this person or whatever. So I feel like if you want, like once you start learning about it, like we're reading a book, like then we have to be more vulnerable and like accepting of it,
kind
and
of
also
becoming self-aware.
Yeah,
kind of like you have to always be on a journey of constant learning about yourself to kind of get to where you want to be, and to get to like realizing what you want to receive from everyone in your life, whoever you allow into your circle.
And you literally have to give what you want to receive.
And let go of fear, which is like the first topic that we talked about. I think that's being vulnerable means letting go of fear, you know, and you can't really accept the love if we're putting these guards up, which is something I've done, you know, and it's just silly to me. If you want to receive love, then how can you continue to say I want love, but I'm putting these walls up? It just doesn't make sense.
But I feel like being vulnerable is not letting go of fear, but it's making space for things that will happen no matter what. Yeah. Like it's like, the good and the bad. What? I'm gonna be vulnerable, and whatever comes from it comes from it. Like, but I feel like Will Smith said, like, do it scared. I feel like that's being vulnerable. Like, it's not letting go of it. It's not letting go of the fear. It's just doing it while you're scared. Like, and I feel like that's the best part. Like, when you start doing shit when you're scared, like, I was watching this movie Honey 4 yesterday. It was whack, but
Honey 4?
Yeah. Hey, but it has Tiana Taylor. I love her.
What's the name of the movie?
I love her.
It's Honey. You know Honey?
Honey 4?
You know Honey, the dance movie?
Yeah.
They have a number 4. They have a bunch of them.
I didn't know it was more than one.
Yeah. But the first one and the last one is the best one.
I don't think I've watched.
They could actually dance.
But
she was basically dancing, and then he just told her, like, you see how much you could do when you get out of your own head? Oh, that part hit me last night. I was in bed like, what do you say? I was about to write it in my journal at 2 a.m.
But then all of a sudden you hear a good part, like, oh, wait, let me watch that.
You're like, that was deep. Let me write that in my notes. Drop it on the podcast tomorrow.
What has been your guys' favorite part so far?
Of the book? There was...
I like the fact that it talks about forgiveness, because I feel like when you're a kid and you slowly become a young adult, you're like slowly realizing what you kind of missed out on and what I guess you think that your parents could have done better. And then if you kind of hold on to a resentment, and as much as you try not to, it's kind of, well, for me, like I always kind of thought back to it like, oh, well, my parents didn't do this, or they did do this, or, you know, and it's like, I kind of blame them, but not like outright. Like I've always thought like, okay, well, at least I know this about myself so I can change. But if it's kind of like an inner dialogue that you always kind of have, so you constantly have to remind yourself like, no, like I forgive them. Like it's worse holding on to this resentment. Like there's no way you're going to change and become better if you just keep holding on to this.
Yeah.
That's why forgiveness for me was such a big meaningful part, because I was like, it's a part of love. Like if I love them, if I truly do, then I should be able to forgive them.
No, facts. That was one of my favorite parts too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of mine.
One of mine?
Did you find
Yeah,
yours?
I did. So I had two. One was really simple, and it basically said, dang, I just seen it and I just but okay, so one was just basically saying that you are only as sick as your secrets. I don't know, that just hit me.
Whoa. Yeah. I remember reading that.
Yeah, that hit me. Yeah, that's on a whole another podcast.
It's in the chapter about lying.
Yeah,
and how,
exactly.
Like, yeah, it's in that chapter.
But one of my favorite parts is it says, like, from the moment little boys are taught they should not cry or express hurt, feelings, or loneliness or pain, that they must be taught. Wait. Or pain. Oh, that they must be tough. They are learning how to mask true feelings. In the worst case scenarios, they are learning how to not feel anything ever.
Oh
I don't know why that hit me so hard because, it's crazy little. Sorry, but like, there's men that are growing up like that.
Yep.
When I was little, they used to try to tell me this shit. Like, oh, you should be like this. You be tough. Put a little more bass in your voice.
See,
All
and
this
that's
bullshit.
what I'm saying about
So
child
toxic.
advocacy. Like, as a child, like, they just want to throw this on you because you're a child. And it's like...
They want to brainwash you into their ways, basically.
But like you said, the love class, I told my sister once, like, there should be a class where, mandatory for kids, like grade school, to deal with emotions.
Mhm.
I mean, love too, but just to deal with emotions, period, because it's healthy.
Yeah.
All these kids growing up, especially like societal standards, like, oh, you shouldn't talk about this, or you should hold it all in and be strong for it, and like you're weak if you cry, and blah blah, all this toxic bullshit. I'm just like, why?
And I feel like children get it
literally,
the
you guys are
worst.
raising toxic human beings from the get go, and it's like, no, we could actually probably put a dent in like domestic abuse, domestic violence, like all these like stupid acts of violence that happen on a daily. If you just figure out like how can we communicate to kids, there's a healthier and better way to do things instead of like weapons and stuff, or like verbal abuse and physical abuse.
Like, even with my niece, right? Like, I'm the type, because obviously we're adults, so you're gonna always try to not make them, but you want them to kind of see what you want them to see. But like, my favorite thing is when she says something that's like right on point and like right on cue, and I'm just like, I can't even be mad. Like, and I feel like I grew up in a household when it was like, if I was to say something smart and it actually made sense, then now they're more mad at me. But now me with this girl, I'm just like, you're right. You can wear it. I don't care. Like, you're right. Like, I don't even know why I'm arguing with you. She'll be like, well, you said everyone should be able to express their own style, blah, blah. I'm like, damn, I did say that. All right, wear the outfit. But
they
like,
are both Scorpios, so they like butt heads all the time.
We
it's
do.
So funny. I hear them like arguing whenever he's doing her hair. I'm like, oh, I want to stay out of this one.
Yeah, and she's only 7, bro. But like little things like that, like just, I love when kids express themselves. So I don't understand. I really don't understand how you can sit up here and have children, bear children, and like get pregnant and like be like, I don't do a fraternal shoot, a fucking gender reveal, and all this shit. And then your kid comes out and you're like, don't say anything unless I tell you, blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's so true.
That is so ugly to me. Like, and
you just want to party.
Yeah, like you want it to be like, I'm a mom, and then you're like not even giving your kid love. Like, I don't understand how you could do that. I really don't.
That's so true.
Like, it's the most disgusting thing to me. If you're not advocating for your own kid, like, who's gonna advocate for them? If you're telling them to shut up in your house, okay, in their own house, they can't like express themselves. That's crazy.
That's very true.
It's like, there's so many you.
Right. Like, you don't remember how it felt to be a kid? Yeah, it irritates me.
There was a part that
that you highlighted?
Yeah. It was about the healing chapter. Okay. It was a quote, and it said, if ever any of us healed in isolation. Oh no, rarely if ever are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. And I just was like, I really want everybody in my life who's ever experienced trauma to know that, because it like, you don't have to do it by yourself. You really don't. Like, I want everyone in my circle to be like, we can help you, like, you're not alone, because I feel like everyone kind of struggles their on a daily by themselves with whatever they're going through and whatever they've been through. But it's like I always advocate for like crying, but I always advocate for like talking your shit, like express it, like let us know. It's better to vent it out than to just keep it like locked away before you like blow up, which a lot of people do. A lot of people close to me do, actually. Yeah.
Me. And you know what it is? I was just gonna say, like I wish, I don't know if I just got too much trauma, but like I wish you guys would like vent more to me, because I feel like I'm the one that always has a problem.
Oh,
so it's like, then I just want to hold it in because I'm like, dang, you always got a problem.
No, but that is a
like,
struggle that I do
fuck.
have, is like I need to follow my own advice, which I'm coming to terms with, like slowly, like, oh, I got my own like fucked up thoughts too, but I rarely talk about it.
And then I
But
come
I'm
out the
always
room
like,
crying
let's
once a
talk.
week, like everything is just hard right now. Like, and it's like I want to do it 3 times a week, but I'm gonna keep it limited to 1 or 2 because damn, nobody else doing it. Like, am I crazy? So, I mean, okay, it's not that bad, but I'm just saying, like in general, like it's harder when, like I said, if the other people aren't being open and vulnerable, then you kind of want to like lock.
I feel like I don't vent. Would you guys consider me a person that vents?
No, not really.
No, not really.
Unless you had a little.
Yeah.
And she right at a van. She be like, man, oh bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay. I really like this quote too. It was related. So, this is also the healing chapter. Making the primal choice to be saved does not mean we do not need support and help with problems and difficulties. It's simply that the initial gesture of taking responsibility for our well-being, wherein we confess to our brokenness, our woundedness, and open ourselves to salvation, must be made by the individual. So this has to be your choice. This act of opening the heart enables us to receive the healing offered us by those who care.
Wow. I
really
love this
love that
book
part.
so much, because I know we're going to wrap it up soon, but I just want to say, like, I've been reading this book like alongside like the Bible for the first time, because I don't really read the Bible, and it's like not the real Bible, but it's like this Bible book, and I've with verses, and I've been reading them both like every day. Bro, it's so crazy. Like, it's just like God is love, like straight, like, you know, like people say it, people think it, blah blah blah, it's in the Bible, whatever, but like people don't really understand what love even is. So then it's like a lot of these people, if you don't understand what love is, how can you understand who God is?
Right.
And I just feel like that's so deep. I just
That
put it on a
Yeah.
t-shirt.
That's why my favorite chapter is the divine spiritual chapter. And how much time do we have? Let's see.
We could talk about it. We
Yeah.
got 4 minutes.
So I wrote this down, and it's from, it's quoted from her book, but it's spiritual life is first and foremost about commitment to a way of thinking and behaving that honors principles of interbeing and connectedness. When I speak of spiritual, I refer to the recognition within everyone that there is a place of mystery in our lives, where forces that are beyond human desires or will alter circumstances in or guide and direct us. I call these forces divine spirit. When we choose to lead a spirit-filled life, we recognize and celebrate the presence of spirit. Some people call his presence soul, God, the beloved, higher consciousness, or higher power. Still others say that this force is what it is because it cannot be named. To them, it is simply the spirit moving in us and through us. I like this definition just because me, I'm a believer of God. I grew up in a Christian family, so it's like I'm a believer of God. I believe, I read the Bible too. But I like this definition because it can be spoken to everyone about whether they believe in God, whether you believe in anything. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because
100%.
I think something about having a spiritual connection to a higher power just makes you a better person.
And I feel like even if you have a connection to something as simple as like love and a true definition, it's like it is the higher power. That makes you such a good person. It's just so simple, you guys. Like, just spread love. And one thing I love is that a lot of the quotes that I highlighted, you guys had them to say. So I didn't have to go through all my notes. And I love that.
I literally want
that? Love. I love that.
Whenever I'm like dating someone, I'm like, you need to read this first.
Yes.
And then we'll go on to the next
No,
date.
for
this should be the first date. Like, read this book.
The last 4 I dated, I let borrow a book and ever get it back. Jim.
Oh, Jim.
Bring it back to that.
No, but yeah, I think having a spiritual connection is so important because whether whatever your past is, when you let it all go and give it to God, and you're like, you know what? I'm waking up and trying my best every single. There's nothing else that I could do.
That's true.
I'm walking with love. I'm not hating this person. I'm not hating this person. I'm not wishing evil on anybody else. And I'm just trying to survive and become a better person every single day, because we're all a little bit messed up.
Yeah.
But if we're waking up every single day.
Oh my God, that should be the quote on the back of the shirt.
Okay, bet.
Sorry.
We can talk about this later. But I love that you said that. And I feel like this is another topic for another podcast because I have a lot to say about that.
Spirituality.
No, just about like if you're putting it into God's hand. That it doesn't matter. Anyways, I could talk about this for like 40 minutes, but yeah, I think we've reached our time here.
We're all a little messed up.
Yeah, we're all a little crazy.
We're all a little bit messed up.
Is that going on the back of the t-shirt?
That's what I was saying. Maybe.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, we're all a
Maybe
little
one
bit
of our
messed up.
one set.
But as long as we try our best and we wake up and we're not doing harm to anyone,
we're self-aware.
Then you should love yourself, find beauty in yourself,
and love the people around you.
And love those who we love.
Yeah,
I love this.
I love y'all.
I love you guys.
All right.
Well,
that's it.
Yeah. So exciting.